way.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
You're Jeff Goodman talking there. Field of 68 college basketball analyst. How Cal has constructed his roster to this point. Couple transfers, 3 freshmen, and then also a couple of his former Kentucky guys. Could have another one that's added this weekend. DJ Wagner, according to John Rothstein and others, will be taking a visit to Fayetteville, Arkansas this weekend. Now, John Calipari's had a lot of success with guys on campus that have ultimately committed and signed. I think Brandon Garrison is the only one that has been on campus that has not signed with this Arkansas basketball team. We got a lot of basketball to talk about. We got some football to talk about this morning and plenty of beefs to get into here on a What's Your Beef Wednesday.
Hey, good morning, man. Another stormy night last night. I was reading when I got up a couple hours ago, there's a tornado that was confirmed, and I saw an image of it in Hot Springs last evening. So, yeah, it's man, we are hitting that springtime weather. Apparently, it hit over near Airport Road in Hot Springs.
Kind of by Lake Hamilton.
Well, about the airport area near Highway 70, then went over to Highway 7 is what I'm being told this morning, near Lakefront Drive and onto Lonsdale and onto 70 into Saline County. So for those listening in Benton Bryant area, back over to Hot Springs, we hope you're safe this morning. I saw some pictures from some family friends yesterday that live up near Rudy, Arkansas. If you get up, you know where the Loves exit and the Workman's exit there is, exit 24, I guess it is, off I-49. If you just go a little bit west of there, some pretty bad storm damage, tore up their home, knocked trees down everywhere, ripped the siding off the house, lifted part of the roof. The inside, I mean, wasn't destroyed, but you can see where the roof was damaged so badly. The sheetrock on the inside was going to have to be replaced. So, man, it's here. So be safe. It makes me feel a little more uneasy the fact that I didn't get the warning the night before. But another night of weather last night. So I guess we all got to pay a little more attention to what's going on around us and keep our phones on the ready because that dangerous weather is here.
You heard the phrase April showers, spring May flowers. Well, evidently Arkansas weather is not listening right now because there's been plenty of storms thus far in May. Hopefully they'll subside and go away, especially tornado-related ones. Thunderstorms and just heavy rain's not that bad, but anything related to a tornado, especially with this, you think about Central Arkansas, think about Bologna and other spots. You mentioned Hot Springs. I mean, there's different pockets within our state that have had to deal with the aftermath of those the last couple of years, and it's horrible, man. I mean, some have been more severe than others. So for those specifically in Hot Springs, like we talked about, we mentioned those in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas yesterday. Hopefully everyone is not dealing with too much of damage this morning.
So that's where we're at. So hopefully if you're needing to deal with cleanup or whatever today, everything's fine. I know a lot of people were without power in the Fort Smith area yesterday morning when they woke up. I know one of our transmitter sites was running on backup power for a while. So hopefully everyone's getting restored, and that's just one of the unfortunates this time of the year in the natural state, that's for sure. Hey, we're brought to you this morning by our friends at APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group. If you've got a desire to find a new job situation, if you've got a need to maybe move on to a different place, or maybe your family's moving for one reason or another, APAC Arcola's got great jobs in Northwest Arkansas and North Central Arkansas. You can go to jobs.crh.com if you're a heavy equipment operator. If you have a CDL license with no automatic restriction, if you've worked in a quarry, you've worked around concrete and asphalt before, have road construction experience, they've got jobs available right now, plus a variety of other positions too. Go to jobs.crh.com. That's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola is an equal opportunity employer.
All right, so maybe you went to bed early last night. I know a lot of you that are at 6 a.m. probably did. It was a great night for Arkansas Razorbacks. Isaiah Joe, Jalen Williams, Daniel Gafford all had big-time games last night. Jalen Williams had probably the second best game, 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. Daniel Gafford, actually, even in a loss, had probably the best game of any Pro Hawk last night.
Williams on a handoff, return it. Williams, met by Gafford, out of bounds.
And that was actually the, not altercation, or incident, but like the the time that you actually saw a Razorback on Razorback block, which was kind of crazy. It was a pick and roll situation. Jalen went up for a dunk, and Daniel stuffed him. Daniel had 5 blocks last night in the game, Tommy. Now, Dallas got routed 117-95, and they got some work to do against the best team in the Western Conference. But it was a good night for Arkansas Razorbacks in the NBA.
Yeah, and the Thunder kind of pulled away late. That game was, under 10 most of the way. Gafford had a couple blocks early. I'm surprised weren't. I don't know all the rules for contesting a call on the floor. I know they're out there because we saw it the other night with the illegal screen. But he had a couple blocks early that could have easily been basket interference, goaltending type calls. But it seemed like every time the announcers were opening their mouths last night, someone with an Arkansas tie's name was coming out.
Isaiah also knocked down 2 threes. He ended up with 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. That was the second game. A beef of mine is, again, 8:30 tip-off time. I didn't even make it through the first quarter. I watched Jalen knock down a 3, and then I was out. And I woke up this morning to some of the highlights in the box score. Boston just ran over Cleveland, which they've done most of the playoffs at this point. They've had 4 or 5 wins by combined 20-plus points, I think. They win that game 120-95. So you really didn't have close games last night in the NBA, but, again, happy to wake up to some Hogs that had successful outings last night. Daniel Gafford, again, trying to deal with Chet Holmgren, one of the better young front court players in the NBA. Had him, again, some good plays last night where Holmgren was just met at the rim, and he's not used to that all the time necessarily.
No, and really like where this is headed. I think a lot of people listening this morning that really don't have an NBA team, I would be in that camp. This might be the or the postseason rather that brings you kind of in the camp of the Thunder. To say they're back on top, I guess they're the 1 seed in the West, right? So they've had a successful season. They're building around youth, and if those guys stick together, you could see a pretty decent little run here, Ty, for the Thunder.
Jump on board. We don't care if you're a bandwagon fan. If you've never had an NBA team or maybe are looking for one, jump on the OKC bandwagon. You got 2 Arkansas kids. It's the closest franchise, with the exception of Memphis, to Northwest Arkansas in this state. So jump on board, and I guess Dallas too. Big C, again, a lot of work to do for your Mavericks last night, but it was cool to see Daniel have probably the best game of almost any player on that team.
Yeah, they came out and laid a clunker in game 1. The Thunder are very tough to beat at home. I hope they kind of do a repeat of the Clippers series and, take game 2. And I expect this to be a good series.
Loud City, man. Tough place to play. It's one of the better venues in the NBA that fans need to experience if you get a chance. And I guess there's a good chunk of Northwest Arkansas and some from the River Valley that made their way to Oklahoma City last night to the Paycom Center. I'm so used to saying Chesapeake Arena.
I don't know. Tickets hard to come by, I would imagine, and I don't imagine they're cheap either. Hey, we were talking yesterday morning with Bruce Stanton, Pradco Fishing. He was reminding us that the largemouth bass are some have come off the spawn, some are still spawning. Kind of depends on water temperatures. About 2 weeks out from another full moon cycle here in the month of May. And it is prime time for bass fishing. Take along the Yum Dinger. They make them in their Fort Smith plant in 3, 4, 5, and 6-inch sizes. They make them by the truckload. Use a wacky rigging with a 5-inch model. It can't be beat for spawning bass. Find it at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, Lurenet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. It's the famous Yum Dinger.
We'll get in some of our beefs coming up next on the Morning Rush.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com. Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
This is the game that they are saying national championship. And we're floating in a sea of red.
At Gray Brothers Equipment, it's Kubota Orange Days with 0 down, 0% financing available for 84 months on Kubota's popular L2502, L3302, and L3902 tractors. Get into Gray Brothers and make your best deal on a new Kubota tractor today. Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Bodo, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
I'm Jim Cash III, owner of the Diamond Center. I invite you to come visit us for all your jewelry needs, including celebrations, purchases, repurposing, or jewelry repairs. The Diamond Center offers the largest selection of engagement rings in the area, along with complete custom design for all those special occasions. My family's legacy in jewelry goes back 4 generations. We strive for excellent customer service, integrity in our pricing, and jewelry of the very best quality and craftsmanship. This is all backed by our exclusive free lifetime warranty. Come see us at the Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
There, I'm Sarah, and I just had to share my experience with Mosquito Joe. See, I used to dread spending time outdoors because of those pesky mosquitoes. They would always find me and ruin the fun. I would soak my daughter with bug spray, which hardly ever worked. It was awful. I finally called Mosquito Joe, and wow, it has been quite a game changer. They implemented an eco-friendly mosquito control plan customized especially for my yard. Now I can enjoy my backyard without constantly swatting at bugs and reapplying bug spray every 10 minutes. Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
Tired of spending all your hard-earned cash at the gas pump right now? Wheeler Power Sports is here to help you out. They have a giant selection of motorcycles and scooters to help maximize fuel efficiency. There are over 50 scooters in stock right now, with some getting up to 100 miles per gallon. Wheeler also has a great selection of motorcycles from the Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Kimco. Check out their full inventory at WheelerPowersports.com or check out their showroom in person at 901 North 11th Street near downtown Fort Smith. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time, every time.
Wes, how many people can a large pizza feed?
About 4.
So I should tell Cousin Jeff 1.
Oh, wow. He's a big eater.
The biggest. He once got kicked out of an all-you-can-eat diner because they ran out of food. How many can a small pizza feed?
I'd say 2.
Our small pizza at $15 is a meal for 2? We should advertise this. That goat'll hunt.
Dog.
What you call me?
That dog will hunt.
Wes, dogs are man's best friend. Goats are the true hunters.
Goats?
Billy Goat Jr.'s Grammy was trained to chase squirrels, cats, birds, and rabbits. We could hear her for miles through the brush. And she'd circle them right to us.
You're not serious.
As serious as a meal for 2 for $15.
You're an interesting cat.
What you call me?
A meal for 2 for $15. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
It's spring cleaning sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Savings from 50 to 75% off on select clothing, footwear, hunting and fishing equipment, casual clothing, hunting clothing, work clothing for men, women, and children, work boots, safety shoes, western boots, all 50 to 75% off. Rods, reels, baits, hunting equipment, all 50 to 75% off. Select group of handguns, rifles, and shotguns in the firearms department at cost or below. Don't miss the big spring cleaning sale at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I listen every morning. It's a great show on the way to work.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a high fly ball left field hit deep. Yost is running back. He's at the wall. Oh, it's tied the game. It's out of here.
Subscribe to the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
So back to our last conversation on NBA. Jamie May texting in on the McLarty Dane hotline saying, I've never really had a team. He liked the Lakers early with Magic. He jumped on the Bulls with Jordan, and then back to the Lakers with Kobe. And now every team with Arkansas players he cheers for. We've seen in the National Football League with fantasy football, not so much fantasy basketball in the NBA, but this has been more of a players' league sport in the sense that fans more often, I say more often now, are more apt to follow players rather than just stick with the same team.
I think fantasy sports has changed that. And now, I don't know, I'm not into live gaming, live gambling on the games and what's going to happen next. And I know, I think people's fandom follows their pocketbook.
Their wallet.
Follows their wallet. Yeah, exactly. And follows the gambling. So I think fantasy sports has exactly changed the perspective of the average fan, probably of a certain age, probably a younger age than when I grew up, and I was a Larry Bird fan, so I was therefore a Celtics fan, and because I really liked Larry Bird. So, you used to adopt a player or a team based on a player, and I just don't think it's that way. And I think football has been the thing to change it. Fantasy sports, I guess, really started with baseball and the rotisserie leagues, but now there seems to be a fantasy league for about everything.
Yeah, I don't really get into MLB fantasy or NBA fantasy. Fantasy football is a big part of my life during football season, but the other sports, it has never really interested me.
Yeah, so I'm paying more attention to the Thunder. I watched a good piece of that game last night, but I sure hope they get to the conference finals. I'll probably watch close to every game if I can, and if they get in the finals, I think we're going to spend a lot of time when we're not talking Razorback baseball. We'll be talking, and not talking what John Calipari has done today. We'll be talking about probably the Thunder and Jalen and Isaiah.
I guess Bobby's last NBA champion for the Bucks. They won it, I think, 2 years ago. But I wonder, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, prior to Bobby winning it, I'm trying to think of the last NBA champion that's a Razorback. And that actually contributed. I'm not talking about just like a guy that was on the team. Like Bobby's basically the sixth man of the year, even though he didn't win the award. Isaiah and Jalen are definitely a part of that strong rotation. It's the best bench in the league. I wonder, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, the last NBA champion outside of Bobby Portis that was an actual contributor.
Well, until you put that caveat, I was going to say Joe Klein, but I'm sure I'm missing somewhere between Joe Klein and then. So I don't know. That's a good head scratcher there this morning. Hey, we're brought to you by the Fence Man. If you're looking for a company, and I was talking with some folks about 2 weeks ago that were going to buy a home, but they had dogs. The fence didn't come, or the house didn't come with a fence, rather. And they wanted to know a company that could do it, affordably. They weren't looking for the cheapest in town. They wanted good materials. They wanted great workmanship, but they needed it done in a timely manner because they were going to close, and they didn't want to have to keep the dogs in for that long. And the price they negotiated, there was no way to go back and get a fence put in. They were going to have to do it it was going to be their responsibility. I turned them on to the Fence Man, and Sean and his team got out within like 2 days, measured, got a quote. They went back and forth on a few of the grade of materials and the level of what they were going to do, how the top rail was going to look, and they got that fence up so that when they moved in, there was just a handful of days that they had to keep the dogs inside. So, can you imagine moving and then having to worry about where the dogs are going to be till the fence gets up, and you've called somebody and they said 6 or 8 weeks? That's the great thing about the Fence Man. When you're in a situation, they take care of you. And listen, if you're in charge of an industrial complex or a government job, or you've got a big commercial grade job, they can do those too. So whether it's your standard fence around the backyard, custom fence, custom wrought iron, or a big commercial job, they can do all of that with the Fence Man. 782-3936, 479-782-3936, the Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Really love our listeners when they help us on stuff like this. Moses Moody was the last guy. I don't know why I blanked on him. Golden State Warriors. Yeah. Also, Corliss Williamson on that Pistons 04 team is another one. So there are some players.
They've had more coffee than us at this point. Probably.
At this point. I am excited coming up in about 10 minutes to talk with Richard Davenport about Monte Harrison, the 28-year-old that committed to Arkansas as a walk-on, a preferred walk-on. We'll ask him about that coming up. But for now, it's a What's Your Beef Wednesday edition of the Morning Rush.
What is wrong with you? I want to complain. I'm complaining. I want to complain about complaining. I want to complain.
It really pisses me off today to simply listen to people whine and complain.
I'm angry. I'm spitting angry. I'm like a tornado of anger, swirling about. My heart rate is dangerously high right now.
I'm complaining because not enough people tickle, hug, or smile.
I'm so mad I could eat ball bearings and crap babies.
It's time for What's Your Beef Wednesday.
So I already gave one of my beefs this morning. Late game start times. I mean, 8:30, I just can't make it through that game. Barely the first quarter. I mean, I watched Jalen hit that three, and then I was out like a light last night. But another beef of mine is we've seen some stuff post-COVID that has been here to stay. I don't know if this irritates you. I was at a restaurant this weekend, and the QR code menus drive me nuts.
Yeah.
I want something hard and in my hand. Tommy, I'm going to be honest. I don't know how you keep your schedule digital. I have to have it in my planner. I'm old school in that way. I just have to have something like hard and tangible in front of me. I can't do it online. I can't do it on my phone. I can't do it on any of that. I've got to have something hard. And I hate when I go to a restaurant and I ask for a menu and they say, oh, just scan that QR code. I get in the COVID situation, but it's now 2024 and some restaurants are still keeping that same policy and the digital menus, which just drives me nuts.
Yeah, I lean your way. I don't. I'm like you. I want to look at the menu. I want to hold it in my hand. I want to take too long. I want to hold up the group. I want to hold the roller. I'm with you. I mean, I prefer it. Now, you deal with it, but to me, I think we've used COVID and we've used all this stuff as and we call it cost cutting or we call it other. It's just laziness,
Amen.
And we don't want to clean the menus. We don't want to hand out the menus. We don't want to recollect the menus. So yeah, I'm with you. But I mean, I've done it. Don't like it. I've gotten more used to QR codes in a lot of walks of life. But I'm with you. Let's just get back to the way we were doing things and quit trying to cut a corner. It seems to me like that's a corner cutting measure in my estimate.
You want to cut corners and then charge us more.
Yes.
And that's as I've grown with age and I've aged quicker in this job than I would in a traditional job, that has been very, very frustrating to see stuff like this. And I don't know why that people still, you mentioned the cost cutting. That's why they do it, but you're not getting that by with me. That just blows my mind.
They forced a lot of things upon us as the consumer, and we've accepted it. Self-checkout's one, and I'm to the point now, you go somewhere that doesn't have self-checkout, but they only have one checker or two, and you're waiting 8 deep. Where's your self-checkout? Just let me check myself out. I was at a Dollar General the other day, and they didn't have the self-checkout. They got like the one, and it didn't work. So yeah, I'm with you. That's a good beef this morning.
That sounds like that's a shot at Aldi. I'm just I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's a shot at Aldi. All right, Richard Davenport joins us on the other side. Talk a little recruiting.
Follow us on Twitter at Ty Sports Radio and at Tommy Craft ESPN.
Hey, this is Colt Kubelik with ESPN and WJOX, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is the Morning Rush.
Our It's off 80 yards.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richards paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, the paint store, Van Buren.
It's 2024. Let's go see what's new at the Golf Nut. Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke Woods and Irons. The world's first AI smart face designed using real player data. Cobra Dark Speed Woods and Irons. The fastest driver Cobra has ever built. Start the new year off with a lesson and feel more confident on the course. Contact Matt Brooks at 646-4430. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news about our first ever trade-in acquisition event. We need your trade, so now through Memorial Day, get your state sales tax paid when you trade for any one of our road-ready certified vehicles. That's right, state sales tax paid when you trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Let me fix this for you, Chuck. Hi, you're right.
The pitch to Shelton is hit high in the air. It's deep enough for the run. Peyton Holt in center field makes the catch. Runners don't try to score. Donay's coming home. He throws to third. Sprague Lock fires to the plate. They got him. Florida just ran themselves out of an inning, and the Hawks still hold the lead. What was Brody Donay doing? Peyton Holt deked him. He deked him in center field.
All your favorite podcasts in one place. The Hit That Line Podcast Network. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
I do want to talk about baseball coming up. We didn't get to everything Dave Van Horn had to say at the Swatters Club yesterday. And again, Richard is going to join us for some recruiting news in just a sec. Tommy, a couple texts here on the McLarty Daniel hotline about our beefs this last segment with QR code menus. Being Clarksville reminds me that bingo at the Knights Hall is at 2. So if I want to do that, because I'm sounding like an old man. Jamie May and
That's not an old man take. I don't think that's an old man take.
I don't either. But he's just messing with me this morning. Jamie May texting in one thing that he does like.
What time again is bingo? I need
2
to know.
o'clock.
2 o'clock. Okay,
2
got
o'clock.
it. Put that in my digital planner.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that, man. You seem like a guy that would have a regular one, but if it works for you, it works for you. Jamie May texting in one thing he does like post-COVID is ordering on his phone and pulling up and it being ready at the self-checkout. That is one thing he does like.
That's one thing that really hacks me off is I do what you need me to do. I order on your app. I get there, and I still have to wait behind the people that ordered before me, and they get their food before me.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
JT
That's the whole reason we have an app.
JT and Hot Springs saying the self-checkout is annoying because they stop to see my receipt. If you want to check me out and hand me my receipt, you don't have to worry. That's his frustration as he goes through the process of checking himself out, and then they still ask to look at his receipt.
I agree because we got a couple knuckleheads out there that can't, scan every item. But anyway, it's just the way of the world. I don't like it any more than you do, but apparently that's what we're going to have to deal with here moving forward. Hey, have you downloaded the Oakland Sports app? We were talking earlier about the NBA action. We got college baseball this weekend, NBA playoffs in full swing, as we were talking about earlier with the Thunder. The Oakland Sports app is the place. With Oakland Sports, there's always a season, and there's always action to wager on. Major League Baseball right now, college baseball. I guess I haven't looked. Was it the US? It's not the USFL. Was this the AFL or whatever we've got right now? That's the Birmingham Stallions and those guys. I guess there's lines on that. Hockey playoffs are underway. They've even got table tennis, darts, cricket, rugby, and more. So hey, if you can't find something off that list. And I guess the Olympics will be on there. We haven't even talked about the Olympics, but that's coming up. Sign up with the Oakland Sports app today and qualify for a second chance on your first bet, because Lord knows me and Ty would need it, up to $250. You create your account with Oakland Sports, you make a deposit, make at least a $10 bet, and it's that simple. Once you deposit, you're automatically enrolled in the promotion where you can get a second chance on your first bet up to $250. They make it easy for funding. Credit cards, debit cards, PayPal, Apple Pay, Venmo. You can ACH. You can do on-site cash at Oakland. It's simple. Whatever you want to do, they probably got an option for it. Arkansas's best sports betting app, Oakland Sports. Bet with the brand you trust anywhere in Arkansas. Bet with Oakland Sports.
Richard, we'll start there. Did you win any money on Mystic Dan at all this weekend?
I get the Knucklehead Award. I tweeted out my 5 horses that I was going to play in a try, super, and all that. Guess what? Guess who I left out accidentally?
Uh-oh.
Accidentally, yeah. Well, I can do you one better. I had Mystic Dan pegged as of Thursday night. By Friday morning at about 8:30, I changed my pick to Honor Marie. So like yourself, I did not fare well this weekend when I should have gone with my gut. Football news, Richard. You got a couple commits this week. Let's start with probably the most notable. It's kind of garnering some national news. Monte Harrison, which I've seen a lot of people talk about this report that you put out. Tell us about this 28-year-old preferred walk-on that started his career in baseball and now is going to try and play some football here in Fayetteville.
Yeah, I've been talking to Limbo Parks, who coached, obviously, former Hog offensive lineman in the 80s, late 80s, who has coached at Lee Summit West for almost 20 years, and obviously very, very knowledgeable about him. And he was keeping me informed that that he had visited for the red-white game, and I really didn't know much about him, to be honest with you. And hearing Limbo, and then talk about him, and then he sent me a couple of videos of Monte robbing guys of home runs, and when you see those videos, you realize not an average athlete could make those type plays. It showed an elite type athlete, And then Limbo just couldn't talk enough about him. Said that he legitimately could have been a college basketball player, been obviously a football player, baseball player, and if he wanted to, could have got a scholarship or in track and field in the long jump and triple jump. Said he's Limbo's 59 years old. He's from the Kansas City area, and he says he's as physically gifted as any athlete he's ever seen coming out of Kansas City. Obviously, he's 28, but last year he played his last year of baseball. Still in very good shape. Will he be rusty football-wise? Sure, but he'll be reporting to Arkansas for summer workouts pretty soon, and he'll be able to get in football shape, I guess you could say. But I think from a physically gifted standpoint, this may be the most physically gifted preferred walk-on they've ever had. Obviously baseball is going to be paying his education. And in talking to him, I'm used to talking to mostly high school athletes. I was talking to a man. I mean, this guy his maturity level obviously is a different level. He's had a lot of life experiences, has played in the major leagues. So if worse comes to worse, he doesn't play, he will be an excellent addition to the locker room as far as his maturity, and he'll be able to be a good mentor to a lot of guys. So I think it's a win-win. Arkansas, I know people in the football program are very excited about him, and I'm excited about him. And another thing, Limbo sent me a picture, and the only reason I didn't tweet it out is because I think it's probably copyrighted, and I don't want to cause a problem there. But evidently, there's a picture of him dunking in high school, and his head's way above the rim, and the kids in the background, all of them their mouths are open. So he's a special athlete. So it will be interesting to see what happens going forward.
All right, run that back because I want to make sure I, didn't still have sleep in my eyes and taters in my ears. 28 years old? Is that what you said when he gets here?
Yeah, he's 28 right now. He'll be 29 in August.
What an incredible story.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, his goal is to play 1 year and try to go to the NFL. I mean, obviously, you're getting up in age, but if you see the two videos of him robbing 2 home runs, one of them you kind of think it almost looks like Bo Jackson when he did something similar, and it just I wasn't that excited about him until I saw those videos, and I said, this dude's different. So it's going to be interesting.
What I was thinking about as you were going through all of the things he's accomplished and the things he's capable of doing a minute ago, the disparity in age in a locker room. I mean, how wide has it ever been in a college football locker room? 5 or 6 years? You're talking, you've got an 18-year-old freshman and a 28-year-old portal player transfer, someone coming back from pro baseball. That's a 10-year gap in your locker room. I mean, that's hard to find. I mean, it happens in pro sports. Frequently, but not that often. That's probably never happened in college sports, I would think. Not very often, at least.
Yeah, well, you're probably right, but something else to think about. A lot of these transfers, a lot of them are 24 and maybe beyond sometimes. So that's a difference. But I know Joe Moore, the Syracuse offensive lineman, he's about to turn 25. So you're seeing it more and more with guys, especially with the COVID year, playing longer. And some of these guys also not only just COVID, but getting exceptions to asking for another year of eligibility for various reasons. And you're seeing guys even going on their 7th year of playing college football or college sports.
We've all lived it, though. We all know there's a bigger difference than 6 years between an 18-year-old and a 24-year-old. The amount of change you have in that time of your life is far more than the years under the belt. So I
no doubt,
find that interesting.
No, I'll be honest with you. I probably, when I was 27, I think that's when the light bulb totally went off, and I really thought, okay, I got a grasp of this thing called life. I mean, I obviously didn't have all the answers, but I kind of had a better idea where I was as a person versus 22, 23.
Oklahoma State had a quarterback a few years back, Brandon Whedon, I guess a few years back, more than a decade ago. That's kind of the situation. Played some minor league baseball and then came. Also, Chris Weinke, Heisman Trophy winner for Florida State, is another example. But it's definitely not common. There's no question about that.
Were they 28 though?
Whedon was, and I think Weinke was 26
Really?
or 27. Yeah, so it was around that age. You might have to double check me on Weinke, but I do remember Whedon being like 27, 28. What about Danny Sally, the defensive tackle from BYU, Richard? I know that's a position group that Arkansas really needs to add. What do you think about his commitment earlier this week?
Well, definitely adds beef up front. 6'2", 6'3". He's listed different heights and weights. I mean, but around 355, 360. So, he's an older guy that played 2 years at junior college, signed with BYU back in December and decided to transfer, I guess, after spring practice. Just another addition to big addition, a much needed addition to beef up the defensive line, and seems like an impressive young man, from a physical standpoint, but also seems like a good kid too. So good get there. I don't think that they're done. I think that you may see another defensive lineman, another offensive lineman, and maybe best available. I think they've got 3 more spots to go, but they've done well this spring.
Joffrey Brown, another guy that committed this week. We were talking about Monte Harrison as a wide receiver. He's just a preferred walk-on. This kid from South Florida and North Carolina was originally committed to Charlotte, but decided that playing the SEC was too big of a possibility to pass on, and now he's committed to your Arkansas football team as well, Richard.
Yeah, no doubt. I think this is potentially a very big get. When I say potentially, evidently he's had some issues, with drops, but his speed, his playmaking ability. He had some impressive numbers at North Carolina, even though he was injured quite often there. And then he went to South Florida. He had this past season. He had a good season and made several big plays. A guy that can stretch the field, outstanding speed. His brother is a receiver for the Washington Commanders. So obviously the talent level, his genes are geared towards football, and definitely has the speed to help Arkansas at the receiver position.
Is Matt Landers a good comp for him? Played initially at a Power 5 school, goes to a smaller school, and now jumping back. Is that speed and ball skills were questionable with Matt? Is that a good comp for him, Richard?
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, I think obviously the main thing is trying to get him more consistent with his catching ability. You do that combined with his ability to stretch the field and make things happen after the catch. I think you could have a guy that could really do some damage this fall.
Real quick before we let you go, basketball-wise, DJ Wagner's in town this weekend. Cal's had a lot of success with guys on campus and getting them to sign with Arkansas. You think Wagner's a hog by the end of the weekend, Richard?
We'll see. I mean, obviously, just based on what we've read, that he's visited Musselman and USC. A lot of these transfers, they're very tight-lipped and don't put out a lot of information. So it appears he's only visited USC, but at the same time, we don't know for sure. But obviously knows Cal very well and was recruited to Kentucky. So probably should feel good about the possibility. Yeah.
All right, Richard, appreciate the time. We'll catch up next Wednesday with you.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
All right, Richard Davenport and all of our guests join us on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and in Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away. Find McLarty Daniel online at McLartyDaniel.com.
All right, we're talking about Monte Harrison. I want to spend a little more time on him. We mentioned his home run robbing abilities. This is the first thing out of Richard's mouth. You need to watch videos of this guy.
And Meisner, it's a high fly ball to deep left center. Going back, Harrison. Going back to the track at the wall. Monte jumping up, and he caught it. Monte Harrison. He robs Cameron Meisner of a home run.
Tommy, I don't know if you've watched any of these, but it's pretty special what he's doing. And I don't know if he's going to be utilized in fade routes. I don't even know if he's going to crack the rotation, but it is a wild story. And I was just doing a little research. Like I mentioned Brandon Whedon, I mentioned Chris Winkie. Some other guys like Matt Ganyard is a Syracuse kicker that was 34 years old on the Cavaliers this past season. Joe Thomas played at South Carolina State, 55-year-old running back. And then Tim Frisbee was 40 years old at South Carolina. He was a wide receiver. So there are they're seldom, but there are some stories like this that you occasionally see. And I guess Monte is another. Again, Richard mentioned, he turns 29 in August. So before the season starts, you're going to have a 29-year-old player on this roster that in some cases, he's going to be older than GAs and some assistants out there.
Yeah, certainly some GAs and team personnel. Yeah, you're right. So I don't. It's just a feel good story and a good opportunity for someone that's coming back after doing well in professional baseball. Is that how you read it? I think that's one way, and it'd be right. It's probably multiple ways, and it's also a sign that hey, Arkansas needs some help at wide receiver. Arkansas has probably not got the depth of the personnel they want to. So there's a couple ways to look at this glass, and I don't know that it's got to be half full or half empty. But you just hope it works out. And hey, I don't think a dose of maturity and a dose of experience is ever a bad thing to infuse around 21, 22, 23-year-old people.
And Richard mentioned it that just he comes across when you're 28 years old relative to being 18, there's just a completely different level of that aspect. And I'm curious to see, as you mentioned, is this a feel-good story or is this guy going to play? Yeah. Even a little bit, is he going to play? So I wonder what I was wondering when I saw the story is like, how did the connection start? Like, where's the connection there? At least some it's not too far. I mean, it's basically Kansas City, 3.5 hours or so from Fayetteville. It's proximity. I mean, he was originally committed to Nebraska out of high school before deciding to pursue an MLB career. But I wonder, like, hey, guys, we got this 28-year-old that's interested in playing college football for us. I'm curious to how that conversation not only started, but got to the finish line, it sounds like.
No, that's a reasonable thought, and we got more questions than we probably have answers to at this point. But hopefully he comes in and he's a contributor because he's a great player, not a contributor because it's a feel-good story or Arkansas is in such desperate need that he has to play. So hopefully he just earns a spot by being a great athlete. 29's not too old to be able to go out and physically do it because we see it every day in professional sports. So I'm not worried about the age at all. And hopefully the rust that he'd have from playing baseball and not being around the game doesn't take too long to get over.
So we asked Richard a bunch of football questions, but we also at the tail end asked him about basketball. I mentioned DJ Wagner is reportedly going to be in town this weekend. Cal's freshman point guard last year that's an upcoming sophomore. His dad played for Cal in Memphis and is a guy that is pursued not just by Arkansas but USC, which you should find interesting. I need to go. I don't if this is a rumor or this is actually true. I need to go in and double check if he's dating the USC star, his girlfriend. I need to go back and double check that, but that would be interesting if that was the dynamic there. But Jeff Goodman had some thoughts on DJ Wagner this upcoming season. Here is what the college basketball analyst had to say about the prospect of Arkansas getting him.
I think it's a priority that he brings DJ Wagner, who I didn't love, but like his sophomore year, I think if he buys in, I think he'll take a jump and be that much better. And he knows Cal's system. You're not going to go to a Final Four, to me, putting together a team with like 12 dudes that you've never coached before in a setting that they've never been and you've never been before. That's virtually impossible to do.
And I've said this for a while, and I loved Anthony Black. I thought Anthony Black was a dog. He played through injuries. He loved the game of basketball, and he had a little swagger about him. I'm just not a fan typically of freshman point guards, to be honest. I want someone handling the rock in clutch situations and key situations that's been there. DJ didn't have just a stellar freshman season. He had like 10 points and 3 assists a game. But he's been in Cal's system. He's played a season of college basketball in the SEC, and he knows what it takes to play under Cal. So if they do get him this weekend, which according to 2 recruiting analysts, he's crystal balled to Arkansas, that seems like it would be a good get. You were asking the question a week or so ago, who's handling the basketball? If DJ Wagner ends up coming to Arkansas, DJ will be handling the basketball as your point guard.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying about handling the ball, and nothing you said was inaccurate. But also the other thing is, a lot of times you're not all the time, but a lot of times your point guard will be the one to get the call against their shooting guard or their best shooter. So it's not just handling the ball. It's not just limiting turnovers. It's not just creating assists. It's also who can be the guy that can defend. So, that's just as important to me as it is the ball handling. You're not wrong with what you're saying, but I think it goes further than that as well.
And those freshmen did play a lick of defense last year, and they saw the exit. I mean, if I'm DJ Wagner, I'm motivated, right? This was a top 10 kid coming out of high school. He wasn't as sought after by NBA teams as maybe he thought coming in, and they got bounced by Oakland in that first-round game. So if I'm Zvonimir Visic, if I'm DJ Wagner, if I'm Adu Thiero, they're like, man, we want to go farther in the tournament. We not only know what it takes to win during the regular season, but we don't want to be upset like we did again. So I think there's a motivation factor, not just from the top down with John Calipari, but the guys that came in. Another kid we mentioned, John Aldeas Nelly. FAU got bounced first round by Northwestern this past season. So you got guys that maybe didn't live up to their own hype and potential as a team that are going to have that motivation heading into this year as a team to get farther in the NCAA tournament. Are they going to make a Final Four like you heard Goodman refer to? I don't know. That may be a bridge too far, but you're definitely not going to make a Final Four if you have 6 or 7 freshmen on the roster. That I can guarantee.
All right. All of our basketball conversation brought to you by the Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all of your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com.
All right, still a lot to get into in hour number 2. We'll come back to some of our beefs here on a What's Your Beef Wednesday, what Jalen Williams, Isaiah Joe, and Daniel Gafford did in the Game 1 featuring the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Dallas Mavericks last night. Plus, we're going to have Clay Henry coming up in hour number 3, get his thoughts on a variety of things. Wrote a really good column on the late Chris Mortensen, whose celebration of life was earlier this week. All that's coming up. Stay with us the next 2 hours of the Morning Rush.
Roll into the season at WT Equipment. Get ready to roll with strong savings on hay tools, compact and mid-range tractors, and even our...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all summer sports, from Major League Baseball, golf, to the NBA and NHL playoff stats. They've got all the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line podcast network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all summer sports, from Major League Baseball, golf, to the NBA and NHL playoff stats. They've got all the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet online, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered.
Rush. A lot to discuss. You're Jeff Goodman there talking about your basketball team. DJ Wagner's got a visit in town this weekend. You got a couple commits for the Arkansas football team. Joffrey Brown, Danny Solly, and then also Monte Harrison, the 28-year-old preferred walk-on that committed. We were talking with Richard about it in the first hour. Apparently his connection with this trainer and Arkansas running backs coach Colby Smith is kind of the thing that got the ball rolling in the connection. And now you've got the oldest player on the team, and I would guess, Tommy, one of the oldest players in college football on your roster potentially if he signs here in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
He's same age as you.
1 year younger, actually. He's the same age as Big C.
Well, I mean, he's going to be 29 in football season. You're 29. So, I mean, now you're like an old man, but, he's clearly a much better athlete.
Oh, there's no question about it.
Clearly.
No question. I mean,
you think you could even come close to even getting through a practice?
Football?
Yeah. No, okay.
No. I mean, listen, I
know I could.
I went to I had some friends in class and buddies that were their walk-ons or on the team, and I kind of went through some of the conditioning drills and stuff they went with. No, I'm not that naive. I'm ignorant in some cases. I'm not there, promise.
As out at Hardscrabble Country Club yesterday, they're having that ATP tournament this week. It's the All-Pro Tour. It's kind of a step below the Corn Ferry. It's kind of a regional tour. Tony Romo is going to be playing this week at Hardscrabble Country Club. That gets underway later this morning. Course is really wet after all the rain, and they're actually going to delay the start. One thing they had yesterday for lunch, you'd like this, Arts Barbecue was out there. Giving back. This is money. This event raises money for the United Way, and they had donated the lunch yesterday. And it was their pulled pork and their beans, had some chips and those nice deli pickles. It was a really good lunch. And hey, you can stop in at Arts Barbecue. They're on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Baby back ribs, tender brisket, 10 or so different burgers on the menu. I mean, it's just always something great. Let's see, they'll have their sliced pork sandwich, I believe, is the special on Wednesdays. And we were talking last week. In fact, I was in there, saw Chad Frazier, who's a coach at Fort Smith Northside. If you're in the River Valley, you probably know Chad if you've been around a while. He said, I walked in the door, he looked right at me, he goes, "You and Ty are the reason I'm here." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I heard y'all talk about that salad, that cheeseburger salad this morning on the show." He said, "Had to come get one." So he was in there getting a cheeseburger salad to go. I said, "Did you get the Thousand Island? Make it taste like a Big Mac?" He said, "Absolutely." So if you're looking for a good salad, I can tell you it's a great place for that with their smoked meats, and that cheeseburger salad is really, really good as well. Arts Barbecue, Rogers Avenue, right next to Buddy's. 452-2550 is their number. Go get you a big plate of barbecue, great sound, burgers, and more at Arts Barbecue, burgers, and more.
So as we get going in the 7 o'clock hour, a couple things happened last night. Oklahoma City Thunder just dominated the Dallas Mavericks, and a lot of Razorbacks had some good nights.
Clock down to 3. Oh, that's a deep one. It goes. Isaiah Joe with a deep shot.
That was one of Isaiah's 2 3-pointers last night. He ends his night with 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Jalen Williams, 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. And Daniel Gafford on the losing side actually probably had the best game, 16 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 blocks in the 117-95 win for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Boston also beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 120-95. I'd argue, Tommy, if any Razorback games or Pro Hawk games this season, like a combination of players, that's the best one we've had in the playoffs so far.
Oh, that was fun to watch, and really wasn't a lot of back and forth. I mean, the Thunder held a pretty good lead. What did you say the final was? I'm like you. I fell asleep watching.
117-95.
Yeah, I mean, the game was closer than that throughout. I get, or at least the parts I watched in the first half. I made it to halftime, and they I guess got on a roll. But it's just fun to watch these guys that in some cases, if you're in Western Arkansas, you watched them grow up at Northside and become Razorbacks. It's a lot of fun, and I haven't watched a lot of Daniel Gafford lately, so that was fun to see him play. And it's a good regional kind of matchup in this conference semifinal. I think they've flown under the radar really this past season. We've talked about the Thunder. You've talked a lot of some about the Thunder, but I'm glad to see that we're getting them a little more in the spotlight this time of the year, where it's kind of NBA playoffs, what's going on with their basketball program, and of course baseball is kind of leading the conversation.
Last 20 years, probably Bobby Portis and Corliss Williamson were the biggest contributors on championship teams. Moses Moody was on the Golden State team that won it all, just didn't play that much. So these could be guys. I don't know so much Dallas. I think Oklahoma City's going to move on, but the way the Timberwolves are playing, that is going to be a tough potential Western Conference Finals. But who knows? Dallas can turn it around. So that's what happened on the sports side of things. Tommy, we opened the show this morning and had some bad weather last night in the Hot Springs, Lake Hamilton area. Got a text from our buddy Hayden Shores over at H&H Tree Service in Waldron. They're heading down to Hot Springs right now to help with some people. But a lot of, you mentioned the bad weather at Hardscrabble, a lot of bad weather in our ESPN 96.3 listening area too.
No, and I know it's been a week of it. We had some Sunday into Monday morning, and I'm just glad we don't have high winds. As wet as the ground is right now, man, if we had a bunch of wind, it'd take down some trees. So I'm glad that that's the case. But I've seen pictures from friends in different parts of our state that have had trees down and siding ripped off and roof damage and trees. I saw a tree, on a house and some photos with a friend on Facebook. And then I saw that image this morning when I woke up from Hot Springs, and you could see in the lightning flash the funnel cloud. I mean, it was a very well-defined tornado. And from what I understand, it was over near Airport Road and headed towards Lonsdale on 70, and then eventually into Saline County. So hopefully everyone's safe. I know we've had power outages in the last day or two in some places till those got repaired. So widespread damage over a couple storm fronts in the last day or two.
Yeah, so hopefully, again, like Thomas said, everyone is safe in that regard. All right, let's talk to Brent, who is in Searcy this morning on the McLarty Daniel Hotline, heading our way in just a bit. What's up, Brent?
What's up, Todd? I'm just going to tell you I'm fired up about today's lunch. Now I'm getting to eat with greatness.
I wouldn't go that far.
Who else is going to be there?
Is there mediocre?
Well, let's just say there'll be great sports minds at that table.
I'm not, Brent. I couldn't make it. I'm sorry. I mean, I just want to make sure you're not confused. I can't be there today. I'm in Northwest Arkansas.
I know we're gonna be fine without you.
You were speaking as though I would be there. I understand. I just wanted to clear up the confusion. So.
Okay. Well, hey Ty, you got my number there? Did you see it come across the screen?
Yeah, Tommy's gonna give it to me, Brent, after once we hit a break or after the show. I've got it written down. I'm a write down guy, but yes, I have that task on my planner.
I'm gonna leave here about 8 o'clock. So just call me when y'all get done with the show. And how about the Thunder last night?
Thunder up, man. Loud City. It's a tough place to play. That was my team. It's been my team. I'm a bad Thunder fan. I'm a worse Royals fan, but Jalen and Isaiah being on the team, two guys that, again, done a lot for Arkansas, done a lot for Fort Smith specifically. Anytime that you have those ambassadors being for the state, I don't think we understand how important they are to Arkansas basketball and what this program has been the last 3 or 4 years.
I could not agree with you more. Just look at the Isaiah playing his 2 years here, and then Jalen just with that group of Coach Musselman's first recruits that just took a chance on being on the Razorbacks, and how much it paid off for both of them,
And yeah, it's great. Brandon, I'm excited about lunch. Appreciate the call. I want to say this about Jalen and Isaiah. These are guys that, again, Isaiah was a 3-star out of high school. Jalen was a 4-star. And you think about Isaiah, I guess it was a 2-year stint. I think he was a sophomore when he left. Jalen the same way. This was not snap your fingers, you're playing pro ball, right? They had, again, some ups and downs. Isaiah bounced around a little bit, found himself on the Thunder in a situation where Sam Presti and this organization trust him. And it was in the idea that, hey, this guy is going to be a key part of our situation. We've seen it play out this year. As is Jalen Williams, who, don't be confused with the other Jalen Williams, J-Dub versus J-Will. I remember when they initially drafted J-Dub, it was kind of funny. Jalen was having to tell everyone, no, that's not me. That's Santa Clara Jalen Williams. But two guys that weren't highly talked about necessarily in the draft, two guys that weren't just like, oh, we've got to get this guy. But hard work, perseverance, and being in the right situation, paying off for them. And, again, 3 games away from being in the Western Conference Finals, Tommy.
Yeah, it's fun. I guess Denver's the team. I don't know. T-Wolves are pretty tough over there, too. Who do you like in the other semi? Do you like Denver?
It's 2-0. Well, Denver's done. I mean, T-Wolves is – T-Wolves will – they are – if they
pay
choke –
much attention to that one, obviously.
You're good. If they choke away this series, then there's going to be a lot to say. But Anthony Edwards, while I love Jalen Williams and Isaiah Joe, Anthony Edwards has been the most exciting player to watch in these playoffs. The former Georgia kid. I always wanted – it's like the number 1 recruit – and he was just like okay at Georgia. Like he had a game or two that I was like, man, this kid can play. And then other times it was kind of lethargic, but we are watching why he was the number 1 player out of Atlanta in high school, because he has been special in these first 7 or 8 games that he's played for the Timberwolves in these playoffs.
I was looking here. I guess they played Monday in game 2, 106-80. So, yeah.
No Gobert. They didn't have Gobert because he was at his child's birth, and they still smacked him around. It was bad.
Yeah. So now they go to Minnesota with a 2-0 lead. So, all right, can the Thunder beat the T-Wolves right now?
I don't know who's going to guard Edwards. I guess that's going to be Dort.
Ant-Man?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough. I hope so. I mean, for Jalen and Isaiah to get to an NBA Finals, that would be so cool. I mean, you think of, we mentioned Bobby, we mentioned Corliss, Moses, and some other recent guys that have done it. That would mean a lot for Arkansas basketball. Now, not just have 1, but 2 guys to win an NBA Finals this year. Boston's going to be the team to be in the East. But again, you got to get by the Mavs first, which Kyrie and Doncic aren't just going to go to sleep all of a sudden. Wouldn't be surprised if it was a much better game, too. And then when they go to Dallas, it's a young team. Curious how they handle that atmosphere.
Yeah, so they play again tomorrow night. Game 2's tomorrow.
Yeah, there's no the separation's kind of weird. I always think it's odd how they do the NBA Finals. But yeah, Game 2 is tomorrow night back in Oklahoma City in Loud City.
So Cleveland and Boston. See, tonight it's Pacers and Knicks. So that's tonight as well. All right, let's get with it. We get your Morning Rush Daily Question coming up. We're brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of Exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, but before that, before you get to the lifetime warranty, before you choose a Grand Design or a Forest River or a Brinkley or any of the great brands there, you're going to experience exceptional service at Wheels RV. Chris and Lee J have trained their team and with their years of experience to make sure from the time you drive on the lot to the time you finish in financing to the time they walk you through the orientation of making sure you understand everything about your new RV, from how to do the leveling to how to carefully make sure you get it from your house or your storage to your campsite. They're going to walk you through all that, spend real time with you, training you and teaching you, and even from a brand new to camping to someone that's done it for years, they're going to make sure you understand everything. And that's one of the things you can count on with Wheels RV. Not just a great price, not just a great brand, not just a lifetime warranty, but the personal touch you get and all the assistance you get after the sale as well. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
All right, 79% of Americans apparently have difficult time deciding what to order. Are you in that camp? That's our Morning Rush Daily Question, and it's next.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com. Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call the Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
Somebody get him a plane ticket for New York City.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sportsbook in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my RR prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. West Ark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact West Ark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. West Ark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call West Ark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Husbands, sons, daughters, honor your wife or mother for Mother's Day at the inaugural Mystery at the Fort Legacy Ball, benefiting Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center on May 11th at the U.S. Marshals Museum. Buy your tickets today for this 1940s mystery dinner, coupled with an exciting night of investigative entertainment and lively dancing with the band Who Shot JR. For more information, call 479-452-2260.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun.
Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown Bar District.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up, home. Drop off downtown Bar District.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine. On North 11th Street is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. Also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. 803 North 11th Street at Fort Smith. 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess. I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
I was reading this story as we went to break that 79% of Americans have a difficult time deciding on what to order. It was a study done by U.S. Foods. It takes some people about 12 minutes to answer that question. Now, I'm a guy that personally, before we go to a restaurant, if I know where we're going, I will look up the menu before we go eat. So by the time the waiter or waitress is like, hey, what do you want to eat? I know exactly what we want. And sometimes at a newer restaurant, it takes a little bit of time, but it's not hard for me to order at restaurants. Tommy, our Morning Rush Daily Question, is it hard for you to order? You were talking about the app earlier, having apps where the food should be ready, and sometimes it's still not by the time you get there when you were supposed to get there. Is it hard for you to order at restaurants?
If it's one I've been to a bunch, probably not. I think sometimes people wait around and see what everyone else at the table orders. Because I've done that. You've done that. We've all done that, right? Kind of wait to see what everyone else is doing because I don't want to get a sandwich when everybody else is getting a steak, and I don't want to get a steak when everybody else is getting a sandwich. So, sometimes I'm waiting to kind of see what the mood at the table is. You
don't want to set the tone? You don't want to be the
Well,
the
sometimes. Sometimes. It depends. Are you the guest, or is everybody going Dutch treat? If someone else is picking up the tab, I don't want to order the giant fillet when they're going to have a salad with croutons or whatever,
So do you guys, when you go to restaurants with 4 or 5 of your buddies, do y'all just split checks or do you each get your own? Does someone pay it? How does that usually work? Because we usually just all get our own.
Yeah,
y'all just split them?
Yeah.
Just down the middle?
Well, I mean, you're talking about What's Your Beef Wednesday. What really irritates me, we was out of town, out of state a couple weeks ago, and we had a larger group, but they wouldn't split our checks up. And so, I mean, some people got kind of the shaft on the deal because some people had an appetizer and a meal and several drinks, and some people had water and a salad, and they just split the whole thing for like 20 people evenly. Well, that wasn't fair. So it really irritates me when they won't split checks up at a restaurant. You'd actually do better that way, I think, tip-wise.
It goes back to laziness. That's all it is.
Just drives me nuts.
As someone that has worked in the restaurant industry for 6 years, that's all it is.
You can split checks.
It's not difficult to do. Every software device that restaurants use across the country have the ability, the capability to do so.
Thank you.
And that is all it is. Now, I will say,
they lost. I said one night that restaurant, because of that laziness, as you call it, lost about 8 or 10 of us that we just said to heck with it, went somewhere else.
Yeah. So I will say if you're going into a restaurant knowing that you're not going to be able to split the check and that people are going to pay, what we do is we just calculate our Venmos, and by Monday or Tuesday, it's like, hey, you owe me this much or do that, because we're not at an age where we can just swipe the card and not worry about it. We're not at that level of income just yet. So I get the aspect of waiting when you go to a restaurant that you just know.
I don't think it's income; it's spending that's the problem.
Well, you just don't want to be. You don't want to be in a situation that, again, like you said, you're ordering a fat steak and everyone else is getting a smaller meal, and you get the dividends of getting the bigger, better meal, and everyone else is having to take up and pay for what you're talking about, which I understand. I get that, but I get more often than not, I show up at the restaurant, I know what I want to order. I don't care if it's 10 a.m. I'm going to get what I want. People will look at me weird when I order like just some gargantuan amount of food at 9 a.m. in the morning, especially off maybe a night that you drank too much, but I eat what I want to eat. I'm not turned around. I'm not changing my mind based on what other people get. I know what I want, and that's what I order regardless of most of the time.
Well, what if it's a place you've never been to before and you're going with someone that's got experience there?
That's why I look at the menu prior to.
But that doesn't mean just because you like short ribs or whatever. So it doesn't mean theirs are any good.
That's fair.
Don't you want to ask somebody that, hey, what's good here?
Well, what I do is like, hey, this is what I was going to get, or this is what I was going to get to the waiter. Excuse me, to the waiter or waitress. And if they advise me to go one of them or get something else, then I'll go. But more often than not, I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to get at that said restaurant.
I do appreciate a server that will say, I've tried that and it's really not that good.
Yeah, the honesty.
Yeah, I do appreciate. Hey, I've tried. It's not for me. It's not real good. I don't know what they like or don't like, but I've never ordered something that a waiter or waitress has said, that's not our best dish. Shepherd's pie, not really our thing. I've never went ahead and said, all right, well, bring me that anyway. Yeah,
Russell in Huntsville texting in this morning, he says it's aggravating when a waiter or waitress is hounding to take your order before you've had a chance to really look at the menu. That's his beef this morning on What's Your Beef Wednesday.
All right, that's our Morning Rush Daily Question. It is brought to you by Red River Dodge in Heber Springs. They are Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
What is wrong with you? I want to complain. I'm complaining. I want to complain about complaining. It really pisses me off today to simply listen to people whine and complain. I'm angry. I'm spitting angry. I'm like a tornado of anger, swirling about. My heart rate is dangerously high right now.
I'm complaining because not enough people tickle, hug, or smile.
I'm so mad I could eat ball bearings and crap baby. It's time for What's Your Beef Wednesday.
Andy texted in and it says, Ty calling them waitresses is sexist. They're called servers. I said waiters and waitresses, didn't I, Tommy? Several times?
We both did.
Okay. Just want to make sure and clarify that. All right, staying on the restaurant side of things, two beefs I want to share this morning. I found out that Todd Graves, who's the owner of Raising Cane's, is now a billionaire. He's estimated to have a net worth of $9.1 billion.
Thanks to my children, he is.
Are we in the wrong business? I mean,
yes.
I've been to the original in Baton Rouge, which is really cool, but I always love going to the originals of any restaurant. I think that's cool. But I'm seeing that, and from the outside looking in, this is a guy that you'd actually want to be around. But all I can think about is, man, a fast food owner's $9.1 billion. Maybe it shouldn't be a beef,
baby. Franchising.
That is a beef of mine this morning.
So what's the beef of?
I'm in the wrong business, apparently. Apparently, I should have started.
Is your beef with you or your beef's with him?
A combination of both. That he's
Why
worth
are you
that
mad
money,
at him?
that he's worth that money, and that I'm in the wrong industry.
Why are you mad at him?
$9.1 billion.
Okay, but I don't understand why you'd be mad at him. Help me understand that.
Why
are you mad at him for being successful?
Because it's not me, Tommy. It's not me. He's worth.
So you're not mad at him. You're mad at you.
Yes, a combination of both.
Well, no, you say okay, combination. I don't understand the combination of. Why are you mad at him?
Because he's
what's his
killing
name again? Tell me his name again.
Todd Graves.
Why are you mad at Todd Graves?
Because he is killing it right now, and I'm not.
So,
I've said it 3 times.
I'm trying to get to the root of your jealousy and your anger. Is what did he do to you?
Apparently, I got a beef with the chicken guy. That's what Ryan in Fayetteville texted. Now, we are a pro-chicken program here on the Morning Rush.
Very much so.
Very much chicken man. I guess this is another chicken man that is also along with the Tyson family or the Tysons as a whole in that category. Whatever. That's what again, it's mad at his success and mad at my own failures, I guess, is what I would lump that into.
Okay. Why are you mad at his success?
We got to move on from this. I've said it 3 or 4 times.
I don't understand though, because someone else is successful, you're mad.
I can't help you any more than that. I just can't.
I cannot wrap my brain around it.
All right, another restaurant beef, and this is not mine, but apparently Ric Flair, the Nature Man.
The Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down.
So we went to Baton Rouge to talk about Todd Graves. Let's now go to Gainesville, Florida, where Ric Flair was apparently at Paisanos earlier this week or last weekend and was ejected from the restaurant. And the manager was talking about and posted this on social media that Mr. Flair was being drunk and disorderly. He wooed directly into a blind grandmother's face. And being confronted, he picked up the furniture and swung it menacingly. We love Rick, but he was bogered, which I guess is just another term for drunk. Now, Rick had this to say. He said he spent $1,500 at Paisanos to be more disrespected than I've ever have in my entire life. After taking 20 pictures with customers and staff, I was asked to leave because I had an issue with the kitchen manager taking too long in the bathroom. I would highly recommend that anyone who wants to enjoy a relaxing time in Gainesville at a nice restaurant to never visit that place. Woo! That's what he said on social media. So apparently, Paisanos has a beef with Ric Flair, and Ric Flair has a beef with Paisanos. I'm going to side with the restaurant in this situation because I've had to be in one of these incidents where a customer got too drunk and disorderly and was out of control, and we had to send him out of the restaurant, and he complained. He wrote a terrible review. But you're disturbing the other customers. And I'm going to guess that this manager was right in this situation. Flair has a beef with Paisanos in Gainesville, but he's wrong here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just like buying a ticket to a game. Just because you paid face value or whatever you paid for your seat doesn't give you the right to ruin the experience for everyone around you. So I'm with you on this one that Flair was probably just being a drunken jerk. Probably at the nicest of it. Bigger trash talker in their prime, Ric Flair or Larry Bird?
Both backed it up. I mean, Flair's it's an act.
Well, Flair backed it up by the script.
Yeah, it's an act. So I'll give because Bird would actually follow through. And you mentioned the script; it wasn't fake, real. I mean, I still remember Xavier McDaniel. It's like, hey, this is the play. I'm going to shoot it right here in your bleeping face. And then he did exactly that. There's multiple incidents with former Piston players, former Pacers players. I mean, Boston had, again, the track record at the time with 5, I think, NBA Finals appearances and Bird and Magic going at that. So I would say Bird. I mean, that's the greatest, one of the greatest trash talkers. Him, Michael, I don't know who else. Reggie Miller's pretty good back in the day. But those guys, if you talk the talk, you got to walk the walk, and Bird did that pretty much every game.
Yeah, I was listening to a story, one of these reels on Facebook, and I think it was Shannon Sharp interviewing Charles Barkley, and there was a famous altercation between Larry Bird and Dr. J, and Barkley's holding Bird back, trying to get them two separated, and no one gets Dr. J, and he just tees off on Larry, and he's holding Larry. It's a really funny story. He said, but can you imagine if I had held back Dr. J and no one got Larry, and Larry killed that old man? he said I could have went back to Philly. They wouldn't have let me back in.
And Dr. J was known as this, like, not pacifist, but known as this, like, very calm, very collected player that rarely got animated or over the top. But that's what Larry did to people. I mean, you go down the list of the people that Bird's trash talk affected. 3-point contest, actual in-game, end-of-game stuff. I mean, he irritated. He had that I say Southern twang, but it's just like that French lick and he's giving it to you. And I mean, I'll call it was like, so I remember Rodman talking about this. Rodman's thing was, all right, this guy can't play. Like it's the Great White Hope, whatever. And then he got tuned up, and he's like, yeah, that's like the baddest. And this happened after he'd never been tuned up by a white guy that bad. He talked about that, And at the time, I guess this was the 87 Eastern Conference Finals, he was like, Bert's just another player or whatever. Isaiah said something similar, and they got torched, and that's why they lost. And they couldn't get by the Celtics at the time. They finally did, and they got to play the Lakers. So it was just that era, 80s and 90s, the combination of Magic, Bird, and Michael will never, ever be touched. Doesn't matter what crop of players coming in. As much as I love watching Isaiah and Jalen and OKC now, it's just not the same, and it never will be.
You want one more beef?
Go ahead.
I know we have to evolve with our technology and our society, but I'm doing the show here. I got my computer in front of me. I got my radio equipment to my left, my laptop, and then I've got my iPad over here so we can do the live video stream. And I've got this newer iPad, but the end on it, if I want to plug that in, so I'm trying to keep everything charged and going. But does the new end work where I can plug it into my computer into the USB and make it work? No, because it's got one. I don't even know what you call that.
USB-C. I think
USB, is that what it is? I wouldn't argue. Does it plug into a computer? Maybe my computer's not new enough. I don't know. But I understand things change, plugs change, evolve with the times. But it's frustrating when you're used to being able to plug things into other devices to charge them and can't do it. And if you lose that block, that particular thing that plugs, and because you don't have anything else like it, everything else is USB, you are hosed. I mean, you are hosed until you find another one or find one that someone else has left behind. So I wish we would get some kind of standardization for a period of time on this stuff, because I've got like 4 different cables, and none of them are interchangeable.
Is it Tim Cook, who's the Auburn alum, that's the head of Apple?
Correct.
I believe that's right. Is he a crook? Not just because he went to Auburn, but the fact that he just keeps changing things. Because the first thing was the changing of the charger and headphones, right? You had the aux cord for the headphones, and then they went on the new iPhones. They changed that up, so you had to buy either an adapter or you had to buy a completely new set of headphones. Then they've changed the charger since then.
They don't even have an aux cord deal where you can put it in. Yeah.
And they could have kept it all the same.
Nope.
And now they're charging us, $30 for a new charger, $30 for new headphones. And I'm an Apple phone guy. I hate Macs. I'll never buy a Mac. I think I'll take a PC over a Mac any day. But I'm an Apple guy on the phone side through and through. And I found myself the other day, my phone not charging, scared to death that I was about to have to spend $1,500 to $2,000 on a new phone and everything else that I had to come along with it. Luckily, got this new charger port or whatever.
I think chargers and cords and USB stuff, all of that should change with like presidential election cycles. All right, you got to stay with whatever we're doing, and then every 4 years we can update and change and bring that along. I don't know. That's probably a bad idea, but then you could upgrade everything at once, because it seems like nothing in my technical world right now is compatible, and it just drives me insane. But I guess if we operated in my way, we'd still be on cable boxes on top of the TV, and I'd still be changing the channel for my grandpa or something, and on his console TV. The good old days, as they say. Hey, speaking of the good old days, it always feels like the good old days when you head up to Gaston's White River Resort. You may have went as a kid. You may have went with your grandpa, and it brings back memories of a time of days gone by, but also just the traditions in our state and the heritage that we have. I know a lot of families that, a weekend or a week at Gaston's is part of what they do every year. That's one of the things with their over 60 years of tradition in our state. It's memories that last a lifetime at Gaston's White River Resort. If you don't have those and you want to start those with your family, with your kids or your grandkids, call 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202 and set up your customized trip at Gaston's. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
99.5 and 1290 in Northwest Arkansas. 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley. 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas. 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home. 97.1 in Camden and South Arkansas. And everywhere on HitThatLine.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1225. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225 or biglou.com.
This is the Morning Rush.
Give me the hogs, Chuck. Give me the hogs.
This is Chuck Fawcett with Chuck Fawcett Realty. When I have an HVAC problem or a plumbing problem, I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940. Blaylock Heating and Air.
So to have a red truck rolling your way today, give us a call. That's Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning needs and great York Home products. It's just one number you need to know. That's 782-8940.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? They do that too. A Cut Above also offers tree and limb removal. Don't forget hauling and dumpster rental as well. More than just a mowing service, they're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news about our first ever trade-in acquisition event. We need your trade, so now through Memorial Day, get your state sales tax paid when you trade for any one of our road-ready certified vehicles. That's right, state sales tax paid when you trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
I'm Jim Cash III, owner of the Diamond Center. I invite you to come visit us for all your jewelry needs, including celebrations, purchases, repurposing, or jewelry repairs. The Diamond Center offers the largest selection of engagement rings in the area, along with complete custom design for all those special occasions. My family's legacy in jewelry goes back 4 generations. We strive for excellent customer service, integrity in our pricing, and jewelry of the very best quality and craftsmanship. This is all backed by our exclusive free lifetime warranty. Come see us at the Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
Solve your roofing problems with Freedom Roofing and sleep soundly beneath a sturdy roof tonight. Locally owned, licensed, and insured, Freedom Roofing is a dependable company that will help you with the insurance claim process. Residential or commercial, they'll be there step by step. Call Keith Holt, 479-597-6777, or Rick Carlisle, 479-651-3247 today on all roofing services and break free from your aging roof. Good luck, Peyton Holt and Hog Baseball from Freedom Roofing.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro Diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Monte Harrison, the newest Arkansas commit. I think they're up to 9 now in this football spring cycle. Has an interesting backstory. Started college, and at least expected to start college in Lincoln, Nebraska. Ends up not making it to campus. Instead, decides to play a little minor league and MLB-based ball. So he's 28 years old. He's turning 29 in August, and he can get up a little bit.
High fly ball, pretty deep to center field. Harrison going back, leaping at the wall, and he made the catch.
So we got an update from our buddy Richard Davenport in the first hour. The connection is Colby Smith, Arkansas's running backs coach, and Harrison's trainer at from Lee Summit. So that is the connection why he has ended up in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Tommy, as a preferred walk-on, not taking up a scholarship spot. Curious to see if this is feel-good stories we've talked about or if he actually plays this fall.
And the part you just said there doesn't preferred walk-on. Major League Baseball is going to pay his tuition, so there's no need for a scout. That's what makes this attractive, and clearly Arkansas has a need in this area. So, like you said, hopefully it's not a feel-good story. This is something that's productive and will become a storyline throughout the year. But a 28-year-old that will be 29 in August in the same locker room with 17, 18, 19-year-olds is just to me, that's fascinating. I know it's happened before. You brought up Brandon Whedon. And I think Chris Winkie, did you say, was also another one that was a little bit older?
Player, yep.
But 29 years old. I know there's other examples of people even older than that age, but this is Power 5 football and a real opportunity to play on an SEC field. That is something you don't see very often at this league and this level.
Gives a new definition to upperclassmen. There's no doubt about
yes.
DJ Wagner in town this weekend, according to reports from John Rothstein and others. The former Kentucky Wildcat point guard entered the transfer portal and could wind up still playing for John Calipari. Listening to Jeff Goodman talk about just this whole roster situation, he likes the fact that Cal didn't bring all 6 freshmen with him.
I'm so glad he didn't take 5 or 6 of his freshmen with him. And he might not have had that opportunity anyway. That might have not been his decision. That might have been, some of those other guys' decision not to go with him. But he gets 3 freshmen. He brings in Adu and Janelle Davis, 2 guys that are veterans that have produced at other places.
Here's what I'll say. He's gotten crystal balls already from 2 recruiting experts in the industry to go to Arkansas. Excuse me. I think by Monday or Tuesday, he'll announce his commitment and signing with the Arkansas Razorbacks because, with the exception of Brandon Garrison, the Oklahoma State transfer, Arkansas has gotten, at least reportedly, every guy on campus has signed to come to Fayetteville. That stepped on campus in this cycle, basketball-wise, has decided that Cal, coming back to Cal or coming to Cal, is their best move.
Yeah, and what's the next move? You talk about Wagner, him coming in. That would be player 8 if he signs.
Correct. Yep. You'd have 5 left.
You'd have 5 spots left. So where do you fill them up? You were talking earlier about the balance between freshmen. You just played the clip there. Is it 3 players? Is it 4 players? It's not going to be 6. It doesn't appear, and I think 6 is too many. But I think 3 or 4 is kind of the right number. I think I like 4. More so than probably 3 if it works out. But I still think this draft process and that calendar and some things hitting later in this month is going to determine a lot of those last 5 spots.
Other news in Arkansas basketball, some guys that had some successful outings last night: Daniel Gafford, Isaiah Joe, and Jalen Williams.
Gildas Alexander. Snaps in a triple.
That was like the last shot I watched before I passed out. Gafford had 16, 11, and 5 blocks. Jalen, who hit one of his threes there, 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. And Isaiah finished with 2 threes, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. So they filled up the box score, all 3 of them. Oklahoma City takes it 117-95, and then Boston blows out Cleveland 120-95. They only got one game tonight, Pacer and Knicks, and then you've got Minnesota and Denver. I think it's on Friday. It's either Thursday or Friday, if I remember that right. So only one NBA game in action. There's no Arkansas guys in action tonight.
Yeah, I was looking. Just at the schedule a minute ago. Let's see. You said Thursday. Thursday night. Hell, stupid phone.
Another beef.
Yeah,
technology.
Thursday night, game 2, Dallas and Oklahoma City, and then Cleveland and Boston. And Friday night is Knicks, Pacers, and then Denver and Minnesota. So
don't ask me why it's like that, but that is the setup. All right, other news. Happy birthday, 37 years old, to Arkansas former running back Felix Jones.
Jones on the end around. He's got great speed across midfield. Still on his feet. Felix Jones might be gone. He is. Touchdown, Arkansas.
Man, those highlights back in the day. I mean, when I was in middle school watching him, Darren, Payton, and the rest of the guys do what they did, you talk about Arkansas football in a nutshell. And those end-arounds and the Wildcat or Wild Hog, as we called it back in the day, that was some fun football to watch. So happy 37th birthday to Felix Jones, Tommy.
I didn't even see possible that he could be 37 years old. Felix Jones, 37 years old. It doesn't seem that long ago. Clay will be here in a little bit. Just doesn't seem possible that he could be that old at this point.
Yeah, and even, again, I guess that was 06, 07, or it would have been 05, 06, and 7 when him and Darren were running Rob Moore Felix in 06, 07. But, yeah, pretty crazy that you had those two guys in the same backfield at the time here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. All right, last thing here. Dave Van Horn had plenty to say at the Swatters Club earlier this week, including talking about some situations with the left fielder and the designated hitter spot.
DH situation is the right-left thing. If we had left-handed hitters that showed me they could hit lefties just as well or close, then I might go with them. But I'm thinking that's probably going to be a platoon spot for now, and left field needs to get settled. Or if Holt's playing center, then that's left's wide open. If Wilmsmeyer is playing center, right now it's more of a defensive situation, and Holt's going to play left. And Diggs is the guy. He needs to get it rolling. I think he will. And he got so many big hits over his career. He got another big hit on Friday that kind of got us that lead. We just need him to be that guy.
What do you think fans are more interested in, the starting pitching rotation this weekend or who's in the outfield? Because we know Holt's going to be there, and Diggs, unless something wild changes, he's going to be in right. I mean, what's more interesting to fans heading into this weekend against Mississippi State?
Probably pitching, but the point on the outfield is probably an area that if you've really watched and you really paid attention, that's probably the area that if you want to have some, I think, legitimate concern, that's the place where it could be.
All right, that is your Hog Update, brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, still a lot to discuss with Clay Henry. Excited to talk about his column he wrote about the late Chris Mortensen, who had his celebration of life earlier this week, Tommy.
Hey, we're brought to you by Riley Farm Dental. They're at the entrance to Riley Farms. They provide every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, cosmetics, even same-day crowns are available at Riley Farm Dental. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer always give you a comfortable experience every time. They can take care of you, your kids, and your entire family. Again, same-day crowns now available at Riley Farm Dental. 479-226-3500, 226-3500, or online at Riley SmileyFarmDental.com.
Hall of Famer joins us in about 5 minutes.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all summer sports, from Major League Baseball, golf, to the NBA and NHL playoff stats. They've got all the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch, big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all summer sports, from Major League Baseball, golf, to the NBA and NHL playoff stats. They've got all the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch, big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all summer sports, from Major League Baseball, golf, to the NBA and NHL playoff stats. They've got all the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
There's just a lot of former Cal connections, not just the players that he had at Kentucky, but relatives too, which is pretty crazy.
Well, if you look at the NBA and you think there's 40 of his former players out there, and you think, well, they got to have some relatives. It's going to keep going. I mean, there's going to be that kind of connection throughout his teams, because there's going to be a younger brother, there's going to be a cousin, there's going to be, it just that's too much talent to.
He's coached long enough now. Their sons, their second generations.
Their sons, that's right, and then there's his coaching network. I mean, those guys, their arms and tentacles reach into a lot of different talent laden areas. So he's got it going on. I watched Wagner some last year, and there were times where I thought, well, he really is talented, but there's something not right. I didn't even realize at the time he was playing with a bum ankle almost the whole year, and that's what everybody is saying, that he's healthy now, and those ankles, sometimes they just don't heal up for a year.
Linger. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he had Clay. The game I know you watched was in Rupp Arena, where I think he knocked down 3 of his 4 3-pointers, had like 19 points against Arkansas.
Yeah, he was pretty good that game.
Yeah, and really it was more about Dillingham and Shepard as the freshmen, but I just like the idea of a
lot of guys scored that game.
Yeah.
111.
111. Yeah, it was a back and forth battle between the Hogs and the Cats in Rupp that day. I just like the idea of the combination route, which they've done thus far. And I'm going to play these comments from Rob Doster coming up in just a sec. But you think about the contemplation of the roster thus far. 7 players, right? You've got 3 freshmen, 2 former Kentucky players in Avicic and Thiero, and then you've got 3 transfers so far. So, again, it's a good setup. Now, I want y'all's thoughts on this, because listening to, again, college basketball analyst Rob Doster speak to, the idea of, maybe it's not the best idea of bringing in a couple more more Kentucky players. And here's what he had to say in regards to that.
But seeing that Adute Thoreau was now following Cal to Arkansas, and seeing that DJ Wagner is now taking a visit to Arkansas, and seeing that Cal is basically trying to reproduce the way that he built a roster at Arkansas with Kentucky players, I just find myself questioning whether or not this whole Cal has something to prove, and he's old Cal, he's 2009 Cal, this is John Wall Cal that we're going to end up seeing. I just don't know if that's going to be a thing. I feel like at some point you got the old dog's got to learn a new trick, right?
I think he is learning. I think the fact that there's not 6 freshmen that are going to be on this roster and they might add one more. Tommy and I were talking about that earlier, but there seems to be a more focus, not necessarily upperclassmen, because Avicic and Wagner are sophomores, but getting guys that have played college basketball, Clay.
Not just college basketball, but have played for him.
Mm-hmm.
And when he says jump, they know which way to jump. And he says, we're going to line up and do this, and they're already lining up. And it's so much about continuity and the culture. And these guys already know what he's like, and when he frowns, if he's mad or if he's happy or if he's going to get over it quick. And they can coach the other guys. I mean, it's that's the part about this that is unique. That there is going to be some continuity despite there being an empty roster. And so, if I was him, first of all, let's think about it in these terms. If you watched Arkansas and Kentucky last year, and I always think this when I'm watching a game, would you take the Arkansas players or would you take the Kentucky players? Who would you trade if you were John Calipari for an Arkansas player? Would you give up one of your guys for one of their guys? No. You take all those Kentucky guys. So why wouldn't he take a few of those and ensure there's some continuity, and knowing that these are all 4 and 5 stars? They're the cream of the crop. They're the reason why everybody picked us last year, and now they've got another year under their belt. It just makes so much sense to me. And those that are nitpicking about this and questioning it, they're looking for something. They don't know. They don't want to say, yeah, that's great. They just want to be nitpickers, and that's what the world is now. But I don't see anything but this is a positive.
Here's something.
They're great players, and they know the coach.
Yeah, this is a response on our YouTube live stream, which you can always watch us on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch, and Instagram, too. Steven says it is interesting that Muss has not got any former players to follow him to USC. Now, Jalen Shelley and Isaiah Elohim were committed out of high school, but Layden Blocker's going to DePaul, Caleb Battle's going to Gonzaga, and now Devo's going to Oklahoma State. You look at Cal, he's got 3 of the 6 freshmen that were committed to Kentucky that are following him to Arkansas, and then potentially Wagner jumps on the bandwagon. That's 3 former players in Lexington that are going to join him here in Fayetteville.
This one's not hard to figure out, though.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy, you're right. It's not hard to figure out. If just what I just said, if you were going to pick players between the Kentucky players or the Arkansas players, I don't care if you were Muss, you'd want the Kentucky players. He picked them. He had them a year. He knows exactly what they were. I would say that Mark and Battle would be 2 that you'd say, well, maybe I'll take those 2. But you might want to start fresh. And those guys, they might want a different coach. It didn't go well. They're rolling the dice for their last year or so, and that, things didn't work out with this coach. Maybe I need a different coach. And he wasn't happy. They weren't happy. It was dysfunctional, and that they would all want to start fresh and go opposite directions is not a surprise to me.
It is kind of interesting that Wagner, it sounds like, is down between USC and Arkansas. So
yeah, I think there's a lady involved, isn't there?
Yes, and the outstanding freshman.
Juju, what's your last
Watkins,
name?
Is that it?
Yeah, she's at USC, and they've had a relationship. So, hey, when there's a woman involved, watch out.
Yep. He did pick up 2 crystal balls to Arkansas this weekend. Travis Branham, who we've had on, crystal balled him, and also an on-3 recruiting analyst. So it sounds like Arkansas is in a good position. We'll see how the weekend goes ahead for this basketball team in Cal. And Clay, you think about it, I think Brandon Garrison is the only guy that's been on campus that hasn't signed with Arkansas in terms of visits. I believe that's right.
Yeah, and he was an either or with him. If they got one player, he wasn't coming, and they got him. So, no harm, no foul. Sometimes you don't get all the quarterbacks. The first one to pick, that's who you got. You're not going to get the second one, and it's not a given that one guy's going to start over the other, but I think he took the path of least resistance.
Yeah,
I'm talking about Garrison.
Yeah. Clay Henry is with us talking about basketball this morning a little bit, brought to you by the Lindbergh Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley for all of your real estate needs. Go to lindberghteam.com. Earlier this week, Chris Mortensen, passed away a couple of months ago, but there was a very nice, well-put-together celebration of life in Rogers. A lot of times in Northwest Arkansas, you'll run into celebrities. Walmart and the Fortune 500 companies have people of notoriety come in all the time. But Clay, this celebration of life, if you watch ESPN at all over the last 25 years, I mean, it was a who's who that were Mort's friends that were here to remember one of the greatest NFL reporters of all time.
Yeah, he was ours for 20 years, and I was fortunate to get to know him early on, watched a lot of football practices with him and Coach Broyles. We sat up in the upper part of the south end zone looking down on the practice field out the back windows, and whenever he was in town and, had a little bit of time, he wanted to watch Alex, and so didn't want to be down on the field and cause a commotion. So Coach Burles and me and Mort would sit up there, and so I got to really know him during that time, and we became really good friends, and that just continued. But I thought I was different, but that's the way he was with everybody. When he latched on to you, he had you for good. And that's why everybody came. That's all those people loved him, because of the way he treated them with class, dignity. He could joke, he could pull a prank, but just a classy dude. And a lot of people at Cross Church got to know Mort and Mickey, his wife, because they're there every Sunday. If he wasn't on the road, they were in there front and center. I thought Ronnie Floyd, who's kind of pastor emeritus, and he does preach some still, put together a service that was just knock your socks off. And they had 4 speakers, had Alex's high school coach, who I think Mort handpicked from a Christian church in South Atlanta, and Chris Berman spoke. Adam Schefter spoke. Daniel Jeremiah is like the lead writer for the NFL Network, who was mentored by Mort since he was in high school. I think Mort knew his dad, and kind of guided him all through. Got him a scouting job in the NFL. Dow Loggins was there, flew in from South Carolina because he says that Mort got him his first job with the Cowboys. And helped him with Jeff Fisher get on with the Titans. So the people that he touched, were there. And I was looking just to my side, and there was Jimmy Sexton, the super agent for all the college and I guess some NFL people too. And you just knew all these people were close. I mean, they made an effort to get there.
Yeah.
Boomer, he said that he was supposed to induct the general manager of the 49ers into the San Francisco City Sports Hall of Fame that night, and these things didn't line up right. And he says, well, the only thing I can do is just get a NetJet out of XNA as soon as this is over and fly to San Francisco. And he goes, thanks, Mort, you stuck it to me again. But it was good. And the singing, Jordan Grizzard, who's lead worship singer at Cross Church, I mean, he just knocked it out of the park. I mean, it was a fantastic deal. ESPN had video, about 10 or 15 minutes of Mort, people talking about Mort from ESPN. And, like Sal Palatoni was there, that covers the Eagles for ESPN. We all seen him many times. All the A-listers were there from ESPN. I didn't recognize, I counted 17 that I thought were ESPN people. Some of them were probably directors, producers. I don't know everybody in that regard. Bo Mattingly knew some of them and was pointing them out to me. But it was pretty cool. The Lindsay family was represented. He sat a lot of times at Arkansas baseball games in their suite, sat in the Hogs Illustrated suite. Some he would call me if we had a seat. I'd just like, come on. I mean, sometimes he'd get off a plane and had not planned to be home in time for a game and had no plans for, getting a ticket. And I was just like, come on. And, I'd call Kevin Trainer, the baseball SID. We'd get him a pass, get him in. And he's nice to everybody, stop and talk, and you would remember their names. And all at once you've got a relationship with Mort, and he's got your phone number, and he's text Tommy and Ty. I told Alex this, I would love to sit down and look at his dad's phone.
Oh.
I think I've got a long contact list, but I bet his is 1,000 times longer than mine.
I bet it stretches the limits of an iPhone.
Probably so. He's got some extra space in the iCloud.
I know, Clay, you've talked about your admiration for Alex, who now is at UAB in Alabama, Birmingham, and
offensive coordinator.
Yeah, worked at with Nick Saban. I guess Dilford's the head coach there, but
yes,
played quarterback a little, and I say played, but was a quarterback here at Arkansas. And I just think about, like, again, as a father, how emotional his father passed away, how emotional it would be. You referenced Daniel Jeremiah. I remember when they went live to Jeremiah, and I guess it would have been Rich Eisen, and I mean Daniel just broke down in the middle of that. So you can tell how someone like sometimes you have these guys and gals that are really successful in their industry, but they don't necessarily have a mentor impact on people they touch, on their predecessors. And well, that was not the case with him whatsoever, not just with his son, but countless others that you've mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, it just was, he just oozed class. You think the Mannings, they loved him. He came to the Manning Academy every year. I mean, he's not coaching or doing anything, but they thought enough of him. They wanted him there, wanted him around, young players, young quarterbacks, to talk to him about the NFL, the different organizations, and, how things are done there and what they might look out for as they're, kind of building their resume before they go to the draft. Because he's, he's been in all those functions. And, but it was on a personal level. I would write a story about a fishing trip to Montana, and he'd send me a text about the next to last paragraph, which, told me that he read it all. He didn't care anything about fishing. He was just reading it because I wrote it. Yeah. And, it was just really cool. And, he owned some property out at Hissom, which, the old Hissom farm, they never built out there. It was a big horse farm that he was going to build for Mickey. And, the White River kind of wraps around that property. And he's like, let's go out there and fish. And I said, well, you got any fishing stuff? And he goes, I've never been fishing. He says, do we catch them with worms? I was like, Mort, I'm not sure me and you are the same, but he wanted to go, and we never pulled it off. He just was too busy during the spring, which is when the walleye run up in that creek arm. But he just was, it was always fun with him, and had long lunches. And I wasn't the only one around here. He was just really good to everybody that he ran into. That was, you were part of Mort's family.
Yeah. You can read Clay's column online, hitthatline.com, absolutely free, no paywalls. You can read several of Clay's previous columns there as well. That's
starting to get a little bit of a library there, aren't we, Tom?
Yeah, so hitthatline.com. Talk about NFL and players. Our buddy Brett Good, he played 10 years in the league. In fact, I was talking with Brett the other day. He's been married for 10 years, and him and his wife Monica have moved 5 times. In that time, 7 times in 10 years while he was in Green Bay, he moved. So if anyone knows about moving, it's Brett and Monica. And if you're looking to sell your home or you're looking to move to a new home, they are there for you. They specialize in a lot of different areas, but particularly lake listings in Northwest Arkansas. If you want to be close to Beaver Lake, they've got listings and they know where the property's at. They know Northwest Arkansas. They know Fort Smith. They've got a lot of Benton County listings. So if you're an investor or you're an out-of-state buyer, they are perfectly set up to work with you as well. 479-651-2292 is Brett's number. 479-651-2292. The Good Team with Collier and Associates in Northwest Arkansas.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV. Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Hey, this is former Razorback Jalen Williams, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
I'm Jim Cash III, owner of the Diamond Center. I invite you to come visit us for all your jewelry needs, including celebrations, purchases, repurposing, or jewelry repairs. The Diamond Center offers the largest selection of engagement rings in the area, along with complete custom design for all those special occasions. My family's legacy in jewelry goes back 4 generations. We strive for excellent customer service, integrity in our pricing, and jewelry of the very best quality and craftsmanship. This is all backed by our exclusive free lifetime warranty. Come see us at the Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
The Lynx at Chaffee Crossing prides itself in providing award-winning barbecue. Whether you're craving ribs, pork, brisket, or chicken, we can satisfy any appetite. Stop in and watch Razorback baseball and enjoy everyday food and drink specials like $2 domestic beer or $3 premiums. The Lynx at Chaffee Crossing is here and ready to serve you the best barbecue in the River Valley. The Lynx at Chaffee Crossing next to Deer Trails Golf Course. Come see us.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSAuto.com.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine. On North 11th Street is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. Also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith. 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Guy, you know how much I love to mock your opinions, but I actually think you're right.
The set and the 0-1. High chop Sprague-Lott coming from third. Barehand throws home tag. What a play by Jared Sprague-Lott for the out at home plate. They're going to be showing that play on Top 10.
The Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Brought to you by Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. You can listen to it at hitthatline.com or wherever you hear your favorite podcasts.
Another edition of that podcast will be out later on around lunchtime, so make sure, if you're not already subscribed to our Hit That Line podcast network, do so at hitthatline.com, or as you heard Chuck just say, wherever you listen to podcasts. We got baseball to discuss with Clay coming up. He mentioned the late Chris Mortensen's love for Arkansas baseball. You've got a really good ball club right now. Still some questions remain about your starting pitching rotation and maybe the left field. We'll address those with Clay in just a sec. Tommy did get a weather update from our 96.3 listening area. Our buddy Hayden with H&H Tree Services down there. Apparently, unfortunately, he's seen a lot of damage already. Millions of dollars of damage he's passing through there this morning. So for our listeners in Hot Springs and everyone else, hopefully everyone is safe. But it has not been a good morning for a lot of those listeners. So you said Airport Road, right? Where a lot of damage was done?
Well, that's one area, and it went over from Hot Springs towards Saline County, Benton and Bryan area. So, yeah, it's a couple mornings in a row that, depending on where you're at, you've had some storm damage. So hopefully if you're having to literally dig your way out this morning, we're thinking about you out there. Maybe some of you are getting back from your overcrowded gym this morning where you had to wait to get your treadmill session in or get on this stair mill, or if you're not actually getting to work out where you pay to work out, let's hang out at the Hangout in Fort Smith. It's the newest fitness facility that offers much more than the average gym. At the Hangout, they've got 8,000 square feet of indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball. They've got even more on the way. I saw where they posted last night. They had the indoor courts filled up with pickleball and tennis. The gym was had a good crowd in there. They had the outdoor courts going, youth leagues, and a whole lot more. So be sure and check out what's going on there. If you need some help with your game, they've got 3 active tennis pros to help grow your racket game. They also offer personal training and fitness as well. So stop in and see them, 5400 Gary Street in Fort Smith. Online for membership information at thehangoutfs.com. Be a part of something different, something better that Fort Smith has needed. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
So one of the injuries that you're wondering about is Jack Wagner with Arkansas baseball. Dave Van Horn touched on that on Monday, as well as Ross Lovich in the outfield. And that is a question you still have heading into this weekend.
Yeah, but it's all about you got to hit. He's gotten a hit here and there, but it hasn't been anything that just said, well, we got to get him in the lineup. I mean, Lovich, if you look at him, his batting average is going up. He just made a couple of mistakes out there that have been very costly. That Wilsmire's the best defender, but he's having trouble getting on base. We just want him to find a way to get on base. And to me, it's not about his batting average anymore. It's about getting on base, scoring a run. He's a really good defender. It's kind of like just get it done.
Clay, Wilsmire is their best center fielder defensively, but as you heard Dave Van Horn say, not having his best season at the plate. Is it more intriguing for you this weekend on possibly inserting Gage Wood into the starting rotation, or who they roll with in the outfield?
Well, I'm not sure I look at it quite that way. I guess I just look at it, the first game is the first game, and Gage Wood's not going to be a factor in that. That's Sunday or Saturday. I guess it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday sequence, right? No, wait a minute. It's Friday this week.
No, it's Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday.
It's
the next week that it's
correct.
Right, correct. Yeah.
The last weekend of the SEC, they always started on Thursday. Yeah, the Mississippi State, I guess I'm just kind of, like the way I look at the series is the first game is the most important. And but you kind of get the feeling that they're going to set Molina and Gage Wood the way Van Horn has talked and looked at him, even as he took him out of the game the other day at Kentucky, that he liked the way he threw. He liked the way he started the game in the midweek against Missouri State. I think that's their guy. And Molina's had his chances, and they're going to play two teams that can hit the long ball. And Molina kind of works up in the zone, and those balls tend to leave the park. So I think that's the direction they're going to go. Now, does that intrigue me? Not really. I mean, the part that I really want to see is if Hagen Smith, I think they've won 40 games with him on the mound.
Wow.
In over 3 years. Until somebody beats him, and I mean beats him, that I think Arkansas is in good shape.
Well, let me present this, because you mentioned the possibility of beating Hagen Smith. Would it be good for this team in the long run if they were to lose one of his next two starts, just to see how they could bounce back in games 2 and 3?
Yeah, no. It's never good to lose. I always like to hear those people talk about, a basketball team's 26-0. They need to lose before they get to the tournament. Well, why? Just win them all. I mean, when you're winning, don't ever look back. Don't ever nothing to break your confidence. And I mean, I think Hagen. I don't think there's any pressure building on him because he hadn't lost. I think that you put him out there and you go in with your hoss every time.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you.
Team confidence. Don't do that. Yeah.
Brought to you by the Hickey and Hull Law Partners. They have grown over the past 12, 18 months with now 4 locations across our state. If you're looking, whether you're in Mena, Central Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, or the River Valley, for an attorney or a team of attorneys that are going to help you, fight aggressively for you from your corner. If if you feel like the orders you've got right now on child support or visitation or something are no longer working for you and need to be adjusted or changed, Kevin Hickey and Brad Hull and their team can help you. Criminal matters, civil matters, if you're involved in a lawsuit, you need a lawyer, call the Hickey and Hull Law Partners. 479-434-2414 or go to kevinhickeylaw.com.
We'll wrap up the show next, your SEC update and more to close.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
We had 2 people over here cooking meth out in the
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all summer sports, from Major League Baseball, golf, to the NBA and NHL playoff stats. They've got all the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crop.
It just means more.
I know one thing, the SEC has got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Trusted pool experts and your source for backyard fun. Locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com.
We've talked about this NIL tournament in Vegas coming up for college basketball that's going to include Alabama and Texas A&M, Houston, Notre Dame, and some other schools that are going to be involved in Vegas this Thanksgiving week. Arkansas is set to play in San Diego, which I would guess is an Eric Musselman event that he got going, or not got going, but was involved in to get them to play out there. Of course, he's out west now already, so Cal will take his team there. I think it was the couple days after Thanksgiving, if I remember that right. Guys, thinking about Cal and the brand, I would guess, and Clay, correct me if I'm wrong, that Arkansas is going to be one of those SEC teams that will be looked at in the future for some high caliber tournaments and non-conference games, maybe like a championship classic or an aircraft carrier type of game.
I think that's right. I mean, we know that the networks are interested in John Calipari. I mean, it's like Dick Vitale's posting yesterday on his X account about John donating to his charity in a big way, and we know John does that. So he has their attention in their focus, and Arkansas is going to be in the picture for just about any type of those games, and we also know that John's not scared to go on the road to play those those big venues, whether it be Michigan State or Kansas. They had that Kentucky-Kansas game was pretty much an annual affair, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think that won't be Kentucky-Kansas. It'll probably be Arkansas-Kansas. Bill Self is not – he wants those kind of games. Hey, they may be playing a game in Kansas City. I mean, that'd be one I'd want to drive to see. That's a great arena where they play the Big 12 tournament. And so, yeah, it's that's part of the aura. That's part of the recruiting pitch. You're going to play in big games. We're going to get you ready for the tournament. We're going to get you ready for the NBA.
Yeah, and I wonder if a non-conference game potentially could be rekindled with Memphis, who Penny Hardaway has spoken openly about. Don't know if the same appetite would be from John Calipari and his staff and this fan base and this athletics department. But
I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, I would love to see it. It's good. It's good for college basketball, I think, and I love the Sprint Center. I've been in the Big 12 tournament a couple times. That is a great venue. So if they want to play
a lot of good food around there.
Yeah, they want to play Kansas in the Sprint Center or do it home and home in Allen Fieldhouse and Bud Walton Arena.
Yeah, that'd be all right too.
Not going to push back. Not going to push back on that whatsoever. Other news in the SEC: former Kentucky Wildcat DJ Wagner expected to visit Fayetteville this weekend, according to reports. Cal's freshman point guard last year and potentially sophomore point guard this upcoming season. Guys, I don't think it's me going out on a limb, to be honest, but I expect him to make an announcement next week that he's going to be an Arkansas Razorback based on the track record of guys stepping on campus.
It's been every Monday, hasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much, Clay.
There's been a treat, Monday treat. That's what I call it. Monday news, and start the week off right with John Calipari's new player.
So if Kentucky's the number one game that you circle on your schedule, college basketball, we don't know when it's going to be. The NFL schedule is apparently going to be released next Wednesday. Still waiting on some scheduling there. We know what the Arkansas football schedule is going to be. What's number two? What's the game you're looking forward to maybe right behind Kentucky? Is it on the road in Knoxville? Is it hosting Alabama? Is it going to the jungle? Like, what's a game in the SEC that basketball-wise you're saying, all right, it's not Kentucky-Arkansas, but it's the second game. For me, I think it's the Bama game at home.
Yeah, I think it's Nate Oates in Alabama now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what they've done is extraordinary. I think he's loaded up recruiting-wise, and everybody talks about Final Fours, Elite Eights, and that sort of stuff, and yeah, that's important, but we need to refocus on the first prize of the year, and that's the SEC championship, and that should be your goal. If you win the SEC championship, you'll probably be a number one overall seed, number one or number two. And if you want to go to the Final Four, win the SEC, and it sets you up for those first two rounds to kind of get your feet set. It's when you're a number 7 seed or number 8 seed that it gets dicey. I want Arkansas fans to get back in the idea of we're out to win the SEC championship.
Nashville's not too far, especially from Central Arkansas, about 5-hour trip. So that would be something that fans could at least make a trek if they don't get a chance to go to Bud Walton Arena or maybe an NCAA tournament site. The closest NCAA tournament site this upcoming season is in Wichita, Kansas. So you hope you wind up there. I know that's looking way ahead.
You've been pretty much a regular at the SEC tournament. What's the Arkansas? I mean, there was a time when they filled up, one section and they bled into several others. Are they just taking their seats now and that's just about it?
Yeah, Clay, it's the
kind of slipped back.
Yeah, it's the Kentucky Invitational. It's not what it was in Reunion Arena when you were playing the Southwest Conference.
Yeah, when they were playing in Atlanta, Arkansas took big crowds. And the first one that they played in was in Birmingham, and I was surprised by how many fans, there were for that, in 92. But I just, you're right that it is the Kentucky Invitational, but I wonder if there might be a little more push for Arkansas fans to find some other tickets going forward, with the kind of players that they're going to have.
Oh, I think so. And, I mean, Tommy, Clay just said it, when you have a chance at an SEC championship, not just the regular season title, which I think Arkansas is going to be a contention for, but to my knowledge, the only SEC tournament you've ever won is in 2000, right? Like you've gotten close a couple times, but they haven't won the tournament since 2000. I believe that's their only one.
When I think back of the last 5 years, especially the 3 years that Eric Musselman got the team rolling in the NCAA tournament, when they ran up against Baylor and Duke and UConn, the talent level was incredibly different. I mean, I thought that was immensely talented Baylor team, and they ended up winning. And they had 4 or 5 guards. They had guys that could score. They had athletes. They were more talented than Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
That the 5-man Duke starting 5, they were, all of them, top-end NBA players going to be drafted high, and Arkansas didn't have that. Same thing with UConn. It's going to be flipped around going forward, and that's the part I'm excited about, is when you get in one of those Elite Eight games, you have size, the athletic ability that you're not going to be overmatched. You still got to play, and you still got to, put a complete team on the floor that can shoot in and defend.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there's going to be a different talent level when we get to those kind of matchups.
And that is your SEC update, brought to you by our friends at Burton Pools and Spas.
Yeah, they're celebrating their 46th anniversary right now at Burton Pools and Spas. Savings on in-ground, above-ground, semi-in-ground, and spas all month long during this savings. In fact, there's still time to design and construct the pool of your dreams in your own backyard and be swimming this summer with an in-ground pool. Savings up to $12,000 off, $1,200 in savings on select Doughboy above-ground pools. And take $5,000 off the semi-in-ground pools right now at Burton Pools and Spas. And there's no better way to start or end your day than a hot spring spa or their lineup of spas. They have unbelievable pricing starting at $39.99 right now at Burton Pools and Spas. They've been around 46 years. May's a great time to get started on the backyard of your dreams. Burton Pools and Spas, Springdale and in Fort Smith, and online at burtonpools.com.
Clay, this is a text from Daniel in Greenwood on the McLarty Daniel hotline. He's hitting the Little Red River next week. Have the cicadas hatched there just yet?
Well, they've hatched at Norfolk, and I'm about an hour north of there. They are deafening. I could open the windows right now, and you could hear them. I'm glad I've got double pane windows so that we have shelter from the cicada noise. But if you go outside, it is incredible, and they're buzzing around our driveway, on our porch. And I've tied probably 10 dozen at the fly shop, and they're all gone. So they're definitely blowing up. The trout are on the river right now. Lewis Campbell and I have a trip tomorrow, and we're going to fish the dry fly cicada hatch, and I know we'll catch fish. But as far as the Little Red, I would be surprised if they don't have them too.
Well, there you go. Tommy, where was Bruce standing at last week or earlier this week when he showed the big fish? He sent us that picture on Monday night. I can't remember, but that was one of the biggest fish I think I've ever seen.
I think I thought he was somewhere down on Broken Bow, but I may be wrong on that. I don't think it was a trout.
Was it a bass? Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, speaking of big fish, I saw Joe Ferguson Monday. He moved from Bella Vista down in Texas. Is it Lake Fork? Is that what you call it, Tommy? Famous Bass Lake?
Right. Yep.
He lives there, and Sandy, his wife, said that for his birthday he hired a guide for Joe. Joe's a bass fisherman, and within an hour apart, he caught a 9-pound and a 10-pound bass, largemouth. Those are, and Joe was just beaming from ear to ear, and that was another one of the A-listers. It was that came to see the service with Mort.
Wow, so that's 9 to 10 pounds. That's
9 and 10.
Ooh, that's
two of them. Yeah, those are
off the charts.
I've never caught a trout. I mean, a bass like that.
5 pounds is something to write home about.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I want to get. I'll text Joe and see if I can get pictures, because I'm sure he's got pictures, and those are. I'll send them to you, Tommy.
Well, that would create quite the happy hour, and they'll do happy hour twice daily at TGI Fridays in Fort Smith, 3 to 6 and then 9 to close. Half-price drinks, $5 appetizers. They've also got the daily specials, $10 cheeseburger and fries on Tuesday. Today, I believe, is the pasta, the Cajun chicken and shrimp pasta for $12. Big ribs on Thursday, half a rack and fries for $12. But don't forget half-price drinks, $5 appetizers. It's at TGI Fridays, again, twice daily, 3 to 6 and 9 to close. TGI Fridays, 540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Let's close down shop here on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. I think my final beef is when you're sick, I wish that you could identify and diagnose what it is so you're not taking multiple things, right? Like one pill, like it's this. So you're not like scurrying throughout the week trying to figure out what your situation is and still trying to get rid of this cough or get rid of your allergies or whatever medication you're taking worked a lot quicker. Because, guys, I've dealt with phlegm and all this crap the last couple days and
allergies.
Allergies, and you never know 100% what it is. A lot of times it's a combination.
Are you
Get
taking
you some
an allergy
local
pill?
honey.
Yes.
Get some local honey.
Local honey. Okay.
Yeah, that helps.
There is a local spot here that I can stop by and get local honey. All right.
Just some of that Mennonite honey.
Mennonite honey. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is a remedy that I'm going to try moving forward. Well, Clay, we appreciate it, man. Again, Clay Henry joins us every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. We appreciate his time. And all of you listening, we're back in these chairs tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course,